Anything happening in Wisconsin today, Dom, that you know of that's big news?
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who appreciates a nice hot meal at a fair price, Pete Schwaba.
Hey, welcome to Nite Lite, everybody. Happy Wednesday. You are halfway through the work week, my friends, and the weekend is upon us, and there is going to be so much to do, but we've got so much to talk about tonight on Nite Lite because first and foremost, I would like to introduce the lovely and talented Dom Lee, who is in for Conrad tonight. Conrad is under the weather. He is ill, as they say in certain circles, and he's taking a well-deserved sick day. Dom, his temperature was 112 last night, so we just thought it would be best to
112.
To send him packing. I'm sure he's doing fine tonight, though. How are you, sir?
I'm not doing too bad. I love being on this show. I love being on Nite Lite. I'm on other shows on the Civic Media Network, but this show always gets me going. And you want to know why? It's because of you, Pete. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I've made you blush tonight. So
listen, buddy, that's it is great to have you. We've worked together several times now, and it's always fun. And you have made the rounds of the Civic Media shows. You hosted or produced John and Gordy. And what are you doing now? What are your daily duties now?
Now my daily duties, I kind of go back and forth with another producer, Parker Olson, who is on Mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
Sure.
Yeah, we kind of switched back and forth now, doing Civic Media Mornings in the mornings. And it's been really fun.
Hold on. Civic Media Mornings airs in the mornings?
Who would have thought?
I find that strange. So you got Greg Bach, the awesome Greg Bach. That's cool. Okay. So you're looking good, buddy. Are you staying healthy? Because I would hate to have you go down halfway through the show and then have to bring in Parker or another producer, because that would be tough.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I had a couple New Year's resolutions that I did. I'm starting to work out more. Eat more, eat healthy. I after work, I'm not going to fast food. Culver's has me in a chokehold right now. So I would say eating healthy or making my own meals. But overall, Pete, I'm doing pretty good.
I'm glad to hear that. What do you make at home? Like, what meals are you making when you make dinner at home?
Well, recently I just made steak. All right.
Okay.
With mashed potatoes. I make let's see, some spaghetti, some homemade lasagna. So very Italian sort of meals, maybe besides the steak. But I make a lot of good hearty meals, to really build my fat.
You are an all-American kid, Dom. And I say kid. When I say kid, I mean adult. But that's fantastic. And you are Italian, correct? Like you're like of that famous Chicago Italian breed where you make spaghetti, you make your own pasta. You probably have your own pasta maker at home, I would imagine.
I do, yes. And people have called me the Italian stallion, which I don't know how much I like that, but I'll take what I can get.
You could do a lot worse, Dom. Listen, if it makes you feel better, I'll call you the Italian medallion. Do you like that? Whatever. I want to make you comfortable. So
yes, please. I love that nickname.
We'll get through this, buddy. And I'm glad have you stayed healthy this winter for the most part? Are you keeping illness at the door?
Yeah, I haven't gotten sick, knock on wood. I haven't gotten sick in a year, a little over a year. Now I haven't gone to the doctors in a while, but I think so far from what my parents say, I'm pretty healthy,
Okay.
No issues.
That's good. Well, good for you. Well, I'm happy to have you. It's great to work with you once again. And Conrad, if you're listening, and I seriously doubt you are, get well soon and take care of yourself, buddy. But we'll hold down the fort here while you're gone. We've got news, sports, and weather coming up in just 20 minutes, folks. Civic Media's news team will keep you posted as we always do. That is coming up at the bottom of the hour. Great show tonight. We've got really fun guests. Joining me at 5:35 tonight will be Marv Wall. Marv is the executive director of the Mulva Center here in Green Bay, a great museum. We've talked about it before on the show. They have outstanding exhibits, a great space, and Marv is going to join us at 5:35 to tell us what's going on. And I feel bad for saying this. I still have not been to the Mulva Center, and I think they show great movies. They have great exhibits. It's just a dynamite facility. So one of these days, I will make it over there. But Marv will tell us what is happening. And Dom, Marv has kind of a name like you, kind of an old school name, Marv, Dom. You guys look like you sound like you should be hanging out together at a social club. And I don't know, those are great names, Dom and Marv.
Yeah, I love Marv. I think, I probably have a third uncle named Marv somewhere down the line, but I like that name. I feel like I can be good friends with them. All right. Maybe during the show, I get a drink after the show with them. Who knows?
See what you do during the breaks, kind of cozy up. Maybe before you know it, you guys will be palling around Marv and Dom. It's a great name. I'm excited to have Marv on the show for the first time. Then in hour number 2 at 6:35, the awesome Jim Healy will be here. Jim Healy is one of the programmers of the Wisconsin Film Festival and UW Cinematheque there in Madison. Dom, have you been to UW Cinematheque?
I have never. I'm going to be ready just as much as you are. I have no clue what that is. No.
It is. Well, I've been there. I've hosted Q&As there, and I've seen movies there, and it's just a phenomenal facility right there at Vilas Hall in Madison on University. It's a free program, and they screen great films, classics, some new movies. They have great Q&As there, and it is open to the public. So if you're a movie buff, definitely check out Cinematheque. And Jim will be here. He's one of the programmers. He also programs, or is one of the programmers of the Wisconsin Film Festival. So we'll talk to Jim and see what we can expect maybe at this year's festival, which is just around the corner, believe it or not. And we will talk movies. Jim, one year on Facebook, mentioned that he had watched 735 movies in 1 year. And I found that amazing. And that is pretty typical for him. So he's a big-time cinephile. And we will we'll have a great discussion about movies with Jim Healy at 6:35. And then at 7:20, Patty Vasquez, ladies and gentlemen, brings the funny. You've probably seen Patty. If you've seen her, it's probably been at a Wisconsin comedy club. She is a longtime stand-up comic. Now she's a radio host as well. She's had a remarkable career, and she's very funny. She's going to be working Memories Ballroom in Port Washington. So we'll talk to Patty about her upcoming date here in Wisconsin. She is a lot of fun, and we're from the same hood, more or less, in Chicago. So I'm excited to connect with my old pal Patty. That will be a lot of fun. Dom, if I had to tell you who the highest grossing actor was in the history of Hollywood, would you have a guess? Would you even know where to start?
I might have one guess, maybe.
Fire away.
Tom Hanks? Probably way off.
That's a great guess. Well, I mean, listen, if someone had asked me that question, I probably would have said Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, maybe Scarlett Johansson. It was Scarlett Johansson, but she has been dethroned. Zoe Saldana is the highest grossing movie actor of all time. She has made, her films, I should say, have made, and they're going by film grosses, $15 billion. She was in all 3 of the Avatars. She was in 3 Star Treks, 2 Avengers movies, 1 of the Pirates of the Caribbean, and she's probably going to stay in the top slot for quite a while because there are at least 2 more Avatar films in the pipeline. So Zoe Saldana, $15 billion.
That's starting to add up. Now that makes sense. A bunch of Star Trek movies. Yeah, there's a lot of high-end movies there. It makes sense.
I will say I don't think those movies made that money because of Zoe Saldana, but it is a testament to her talent. She is an Oscar winner, and she is an unbelievably talented actor. But I don't think she carries like the star power, even of a Scarlett Johansson, who was number 1 before her, or a Tom Hanks. But that could change. I mean, she's a big shot, and it's that was kind of cool to read that. We've got a lot to get to too. We've got. As I meant, you know what, Tom? Let's do let's not waste any more time. I'm sick of screwing around here. We're 10 minutes in. I think it's time we get to the Nite Lite question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
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 Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
You ready for this, Dom? All right. You're nodding. It's radio, buddy. You got to say yes.
Let's hear it.
Who is your favorite coach? Who is your favorite coach? It could be college, it could be pro, it could be fictional. And I got the inspiration for this question because I think the movie Coach Carter dropped today. And I started thinking, and yesterday we were talking about all the coaching vacancies in the NFL. A lot of coaches have been fired. A lot of good coaches have been fired or walked away. Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Mike McDonald. You could argue whether or not Mike McDonald is a good coach. He didn't have a great record, but he was kind of a hot shot when he took that gig in Miami. And who was the other one? Brian Stefanski, a 2-time coach of the year, but he's been stuck in Cleveland. They let him go. So there you go. It's coaches are everywhere. So let us know, who is your favorite coach, folks? That is tonight's question of the night. You can let me know at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. If you are listening on the app, you can send us a text over the app. It's very easy to use, the Civic Media app. And we are on statewide. So just click the little icon next to the station you're listening in or on and send us who your favorite coach is. If you're watching the radio on the stream, drop us a stream comment and give us a like or a follow while you're there at Facebook or YouTube or wherever you happen to be joining us from. So do you have an answer to this, Dom? I want to say my favorite coach. I have two. And they're both, actually, I'm going to say three. And I know you and I are both Bear fans. So
I have one. Yep, I have one. I think
I'm
going to
jump ship here, Dom. You might not be happy with this. Vince Lombardi. And I love George Halas. I love Lovie Smith. I think it looks like Ben Johnson's working out. But I'm going to say Vince Lombardi's not my favorite all time, but you could argue he is the greatest coach of all time. My two favorites are in the world of hoops, and they are Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Phil Jackson was great. Great.
I mean, 10 titles, 6 with the Bulls, 4 with the Lakers. You can't argue with that. And then Pop, who I think is a free thinker. I love the way he thinks. I love how he's kind of like Phil Jackson, even though I don't think they really liked each other. They kind of had this rivalry. And Phil Jackson said at one point, Greg Popovich has to have an asterisk next to one of his titles because I think it was during his strike year or something like that. But they're both fantastic coaches. And then in football, I would say it's hard to argue, and I'm basing this on what I've heard other people say over the years about Vince Lombardi. So I got to put Vince Lombardi up there too. What about you, Dom?
I would say again, I wasn't born when this coach was a coach, but I would say Mike Ditka. I would say Mike Ditka is probably one of the best coaches. This is super biased, but I do really like Mike Ditka. I like Ben Johnson right now as well. But Vince Lombardi is a great choice. I really respect that, and also Greg Popovich. You know, he perfected the art of passing. So I like all of these coaches. Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I like Popovich. I like that he speaks his mind. I know sometimes people think sports people or coaches should stay in their lane. I disagree. I think you're entitled to an opinion like anybody else. And Popovich is great. I liked Ditka. I thought he was a great motivator for that 1 year in '85. I remember it. He was great. But I don't know that he's a great X's and O's. He's a great coach. I don't know. I just don't know if I'd put him in that upper echelon. But definitely Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich for me, and Vince Lombardi. And don't tell any of my Bear friends I said that. So let us know who your favorite coach is, folks. Are we going to break already, Dom? I don't know if I agree.
We are. We're already.
We are coming right back, folks. And when we do, I'm going to tell you about what is the most dangerous sport. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
15 seconds.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. Great to have you with me, folks, on this Wednesday night. Conrad is under the weather, folks. He's got the pig flu, and but I'm sure he'll be back tomorrow. I hope not. If it's the pig flu, I want him to take a week. You know what I mean, Dom? I was teasing him for having scurvy, but he just had the scratchy throat, and I looked at it myself. I self-diagnosed, and I told him to take a night off. Is that strange for a boss to do like a little brief inspection?
Not at all. And in fact, it's very
Okay.
nice of you. You know, I appreciate that, and I'm sure Conrad does too. He's gonna be lively tomorrow. Tomorrow, let me tell you, he's gonna be up.
Trying to
He's gonna be
save
ready
him
to go.
some money. Yeah, I don't know if he reaches deductible or not. So I'm just trying to help a brother out, you know. Hey, news, sports, and weather, folks, is coming up in just 7 minutes, so sit tight for that. This is a fun night here at Nite Lite tonight. My guests are Marv Wall from the Mulva Cultural Center in Green Bay. Jim Healy from Madison Cinematheque, UW Cinematheque, is here to talk movies in the second hour, and some funny. Patty Vasquez joins me in hour number 3 at 7:20. Our question of the night is, who is your favorite coach? A very important question that needs to be asked. I do want to say, Dom, I do this once in a while. People text me at the last minute when we're about to go off the air, and I miss it. And I don't like to miss texts from listeners. So last night, right at the end of the show, our question was, who is your current movie or TV crush? And Bridget from the 818 said, Officer Dante on Chicago PD. Benjamin Levi Aguilar. I think she's saying the actor's name is. Do you know that actor, Dom?
I don't. I'm gonna have to. Benjamin Levy Aguilar.
I think we
I
got to
gotta
go to
look
the
that up.
Google.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have
gotta
a
go to the-
now? I met your girlfriend. You brought your girlfriend with you to the screening of The Godfather of Green Bay in December. Very nice girl. You're dating up, as they say, so good for you.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
do you have a celebrity TV or movie crush, Dom?
Oh man. I think uh, Robbie, who's from Wolf of Wall Street. What's her name? See, this is why
Margot
you know,
Robbie.
Margot Robbie. There we go. Yes.
You
See,
started
this
with
is why-
Rob, and I was like, wait a minute, you have a girlfriend, but that's okay. It could be a man crush. I don't know. But yeah,
I hope
Margot
she's
Robbie.
not listening. Yeah. Yep.
She's a great one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, would your girlfriend be upset if she heard you say you had a harmless crush on Margot Robbie?
She wouldn't, but I wouldn't tell her. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna tell her that I do have a secret crush on Margot Robbie. It's just not something that I think she would enjoy. She wouldn't outwardly say it, but she'll give me a cold shoulder every now and then. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, why rock the boat? You don't need that. You want a blissful home life. So before the break, I talked about this. I found this. I thought this was great. This was from Wise Brother Media. Dangerous sports that you wouldn't necessarily think are dangerous.
Mhm.
Number 1, water polo.
Wow.
And here's what, under the description, it says, one person says, I'm a pretty strong guy, but nothing prepared me for the brutality of what goes on above and especially below the surface. It's straight up mauling, a water-based combat sport. Another says they still have scars from people's finger and toenails, and another compared it to competitive drowning. That is
Yeah,
nuts.
I mean, yeah, you have to tread water for, I think, pretty much the whole time. I mean, I can't imagine being goalies is even difficult. You know what I mean? Because you're staying in one spot.
Absolutely.
Man,
Just
I
treading
can't-
water would be exhausting for that length of time. But and I knew there was like jockeying and it got a little physical. I had no idea to this degree, though. Another one, and this surprised me, darts. It's not just the risk of you getting hit in the back, it's alcoholism. One dart player said major incidents of cirrhosis of the liver. And it's not a joke. You compete in the pubs, you drink, it calms your nerves, and you drink more. Another said, how many sports are there where you can actually drink and smoke when it's not your turn? I used to do a joke in my stand-up act that golf, if you could wear a cardigan and smoke and drink between turns, not really a sport. It's a skill, definitely, but they put darts in that category as well. Number 3, sumo wrestling, and I get that 100%. The only sport, one person says that it's the only sport I watch, and injuries are extremely common, especially for the knees. That's weird because the water polo and the darts were a bit of a surprise. Nothing
Mhm,
with wrestling in the title would surprise me that it's a dangerous sport. I'm sure the
mhm.
injuries are crazy.
Yep.
Here's one, Dom, for you. Cheerleading.
I could see that. I
I
could
could
see
see that
that.
too.
I could definitely see that. Yep, yep. You're 20 feet or 10 feet off the ground, if not more. Yeah, there's bound to be some injuries to be had there. Yep.
And I know like I remember I was friends with some of the a couple of the dudes that were cheerleaders, and they said it's really stressful. Like you're launching a girl in the air,
Hmm.
and you sometimes they miss. Now the fall is typically broken a little bit. They don't just outright miss them, but that would be terrifying. And the other one that I think tug of war is on this list, which I found strange, but it says if you look at the Wikipedia page, it lists death and dismemberment in its accidents. People aren't understanding physics and use a rope not rated for the tension. The rope snaps, and with the force of a combined
Mm.
pull, snaps back and can kill people on impact. And here I was about to start a tug of war club here in Marinette, Wisconsin. Um, but I do think like gymnastics, like I see
Hmm.
what these girls and these guys do when and here's what makes me what I don't get. How do you practice that? Like these people are doing triple flips. And how do you even practice that? I know you get spotted when you do one, but it is insanity to me. And what they can do is such a skill. It's really impressive, but I can see where it would be dangerous as well.
Man, I know
Uh,
my sister did that a lot too. She was heavy into gymnastics, and there's a lot of just trial and error, keep falling and getting back up. That's pretty much
it's
it.
even worse if you're heavy in
Mm.
gymnastics, Dom.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not saying your sister was. I'm just saying it's harder to do some of the stunts. Daniel Wheeler on the stream says my favorite coach is Tom Bervin. He was my high school tennis coach. We should have opened it up there too. Yeah, folks, if you've had a coach that's your favorite too, feel free to share that as well. Stacy Sue on the stream says Mike Holmgren. Thought we might hear about Mike might make that list too. All right, news, sports, and weather is next. We're coming back with Marv Wallace, Pete Schwaba, and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
15 seconds.
Okay.
I get so lost.
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. It is great to have you here on this Wednesday night, folks. We are broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Green Bay and being produced from Madison tonight. Dom Lee is sitting in for Conrad, who is, he's got the bird flu. No, it's scurvy. I don't know. He's got the mumps. I don't know. Conrad is under the weather, folks. But
I gotta ask real quick. Sorry.
Yeah,
what
that's
is
all right.
scurvy?
Scurvy is like that when you lack vitamin C. A lot of guys that used to sail used to get it. Back when I was in the Merchant Marines, a lot of the guys would get. I'm just kidding, Dom, I love when you don't know. Like, for all you know, I was on ships with guys that had scurvy. No, this is years ago, and they lacked vitamin C, so they would get like these gum diseases, and it was kind of a serious thing. It was that and rickets. That was the other big illness where I think your bones just deteriorate. But even though I gave Conrad the once over and I examined him last night, I am not a doctor and I am not qualified to answer these questions. However, there is a guy about to join the show who is much smarter than me, and we will ask him all kinds of questions about really cool stuff you might see at the Mulva Cultural Center. He is the executive director there, right there in Green Bay, a beautiful, really cool facility that we have in downtown Green Bay. Mr. Marv Wall joins me tonight. Hi, Marv.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Really good.
Well,
maybe a
thanks for-
Seinfeld reference. Maybe it's lupus.
Lupus is another great. Hey, any guest who comes on the show, Marv, and opens with a Seinfeld joke is tops in my book. So I'm even more glad you're here now. Great reference.
All right.
Do you have a favorite coach, Marv?
Favorite coach? Wow.
That's our question of the night.
My Packers roots will probably get me to go Lambeau and Lombardi. We actually had an exhibit here that the Packers loaned us when the draft was in town, and it had the history of the Packers from 1919 on, and what Curly Lambeau did with his relationships with the Press Gazette and such. You got to give him kudos for starting the best franchise in the NFL.
That's a pretty hard to argue with that. And we've talked about this, and I actually said Vince Lombardi as well. I spent the first part of my childhood in Chicago. I am a Bears fan, but the two things I will say it's tough to argue with. Vince Lombardi is possibly the greatest coach ever, and the Packer Museum, the Packer Hall of Fame, I should say, really outstanding exhibit there at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, I agree. And they just took what they had in storage and created an exhibit for us, and it was amazing.
That's excellent. So, all right. So we've talked a little bit about the Mulva before here on the show, but this is the first time you've been on. So give us a little background, Marv. What's your story?
Well, the Mulva Center was started 2 years ago. I was actually on board for the construction, so I've been here for 4.5 years now. So we were 2.5 years under construction, and then we opened in December of 23. So we've just been open for 2 years. So we've only had like three large exhibits per year. So that's 6 large exhibits, and then all the other things that we have going on here too. So we're a fairly young organization. And we just made a big change this last year in our pricing model, where previously we had charged for our large exhibits and films, and now we're offering those for free for our large exhibits plus most films. There's some that we have to charge for because of the way they're contracted, but it was a big change in December, which has been a huge change for us.
You talked about how long you've been there. Where were you before you were at the Mulva Center?
I started my career as a CPA actually for 13 years, a local firm called Whiffley, and then worked at an engineering company for the next 23 years. So most of my career was working with accountants and engineers. So working at a cultural center is a bit foreign to me, but exercising the other side of my brain has been a lot of fun.
It sounds great. I always thought like working at a museum or a theater would be pretty chill and kind of a fun gig, kind of laid back. But so all right, Marv, let's talk about some of the things you guys have coming up here. Do you guys what do you guys offer, let's say, that other museums might not? Like what makes the Mulva Center Cultural Center stand out more as opposed, not that it's a competition. I know you guys all work together, but what's different about it?
It's a different type model. Most museums have a static offering, or we were just at the Reagan Museum last October, and obviously it's geared toward Ronald Reagan, and they have a lot of things very specific to him, and so there's children's museums. Other types of museums typically have a fairly static or doesn't change a lot offering, because that's what they want to show or procure. Where our content changes constantly. We typically have 3 large exhibits a year, so our offering is ever changing. So we don't want to be the place where you just come one time and say, "Oh, check the box. I've been there. I don't need to go back again for another 5 to 10 years." We want to bring you back again and again with our various varied offerings, and have it be the place where if I'm looking for something to do, Mulva Cultural Center comes to the top of the mind.
That's a great answer. Are you referring to the Reagan Library in Simi Valley, California?
Yep. We'll get to when we get to our exhibits. So we co-curated an exhibit with them, and it's showing there now. It'll be coming here next summer. So
That is an absolutely spectacular. I've been there, and it's an incredible spot. I mean, I think, if I remember correctly, Reagan is buried there, and it overlooks
Yep.
like this gorgeous. I mean, it's like on the side of a mountain, sort of. And I was like, the only thing bad about that is that he can't enjoy the view because it's unbelievable, and the stuff they have there is really cool. So that's a
Yeah,
great.
it's a beautiful place, and they do a great job. They're really good people
Yeah.
there.
For sure. Okay, so what do we have? Marv Wall is my guest, folks. He is the executive director of the Mulva Cultural Center in Green Bay. Just an absolute gem right there in Titletown. What do you have coming up? Let's talk about some of your exhibits. You've got. You want to start with films, because I love what you guys offer in the way of films, or we could just go with exhibits that are upcoming. Where would you like to start?
How about we start with exhibits? That's our next biggest thing. That's kind of our main focus, I should say.
Okay.
We have a 10,000 square foot exhibit hall on our second floor. We just moved out Life in Space a couple weeks ago, and we're moving in the real Genghis Khan right now. So that's our next big exhibit. And Genghis Khan was kind of people either loved him or hate him. His father was actually killed when he was 9 years old, and his family then was outcast by the tribe that he was in. So he had to create some alliances, gather some other people to help fight with him, started unifying different tribes, and kept doing that until he had the largest contiguous empire in the world, and that still stands today. So he pretty much is a self-made person, and again, a lot of things we talk about today are because of him. He actually promoted trade and religious freedom, and that's one of the ways he unified his empire. He kept everybody together, that they weren't still trying to fight and get away from his empire. They wanted to be part of it. Part of it was because they were afraid of him too, because he kept trying to increase the size of his empire and was pretty ruthless in doing that. So it's a lot of history that about Genghis Khan and how he came to power, and what he was able to do.
I remember watching, I think it was the Discovery Channel. They talked about Genghis Khan, and they talked to these guys in San Francisco, and they all thought they were probably descendants of Genghis Khan. Like, he is supposedly responsible for millions of people being alive. Like, he did a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
not just intimidating, but
very prolific, if you might want to use that word. Yes.
that's a great word for it. He was, or to quote another Seinfeld, he was a master of his domain. Anyway, There's great. It says you have the largest collection of Genghis Khan era artifacts ever to tour the world. I love that that is just coming right to Green Bay. And also, you'll have live Mongolian musical performances and a chance to speak with the artist. Is that part of Malva's sort of modus operandi too? Is that it's more interactive like that?
Exactly. Each exhibit has its own uniqueness, and this is our first one where we'll have live performers in it. So there's always something different or something new that is with each exhibit. Dinosaurs are dinosaurs. We had a lot of animatronic dinosaurs. The Lego exhibit had things that you could do and kind of lose yourself in Legos for an afternoon if you want. This one, has a lot of history, but then it has live performers that will be in our exhibit hall every day for performances. There'll be singing, there'll be calligraphy in period clothing. So it'll be a neat exhibition.
You have one coming up too. It's a ways off. It rolls in June. But Cowboys History in Hollywood. I spent years in Southern California. I'm a writer, and I'm fascinated by Will Rogers. We've been to that museum before, so that exhibit really jumped out at me. It looks like it's just a lot of fun. What can you tell us about Cowboys History in Hollywood? Speaking of Ronald Reagan,
Right, that's another first for us. We co-developed that with the Reagan Museum. So that one had premiered in October at the Reagan Museum. It'll be going through April of this year, and then they'll pack it up and ship it to us. So it'll be running here June 10th to 12th. We'll have a member-only preview, and then June 13th it's open through September 7th. Very neat exhibit. I got to meet a lot of the people that put the exhibit together, and they're very passionate about they have really great connections out there with different museums. With the Ronald Reagan portion of it, they really didn't emphasize in their exhibit, but when it comes here, they're going to send us an extra section just for the connection with Ronald Reagan in Hollywood. So it'll be one of the few exhibits that we get that are brand new, that it'd be the second time being shown.
yeah, that's really exciting. And then you've got right now, if people want to catch it, a tactile images exhibit, seven art movements. Is that's here through February 11th? Few more weeks if people want to check it out.
Right. We have two exhibit spaces. One is our large 10,000 square foot hall upstairs, which we have the large exhibits. The Packer exhibit that I talked about previously, and now Tactile Images, is down in our atrium. So that's a smaller space. Those have always been free for people just to come in and view, and they're just in the open space. In our exhibit hall, it's museum quality, so there's no outside light and external light sources and things like that you need to have for museum quality. Whereas the things in the atrium typically are a different level. So the Tactile Images will be here through February 11th, and then we'll change that over to Where Children Sleep from February 18th to April 15th. And that is about how everybody is different. People live differently, and it kind of focuses on the children and how they go about their lives. So it's about different people and kind of focuses on the children.
That's great. Marv, we're going to do a very short break. We'll come back and have a few more minutes with Marv. He's going to tell us what films we can see at the Malva. News, sports, and weather coming up in 10 minutes. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I don't like to see so much pain, so much wasted.
All right, guys, 15 seconds.
All right.
Get up home. I wanna drive them home. When you're feeling blue.
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. Great to have you with me. News is on the way, folks. Just about 8 minutes away. Our question of the night here at Nite Lite tonight is: who is your favorite coach? And it can be a fictional character, like Coach on Cheers, or Craig T. Nelson, or Denzel Washington, or Remember the Titans. If you had a high school coach, any coach, all options are on the table. My guest right now is the director of the Mulva Cultural Center in Green Bay, Mr. Marv Wall. Marv, have I told you how cool your name is? I love the name Marv.
No, you haven't. And
Do you
not
get
many
that?
people do.
It's an old school name. I love it.
It is old school. Yeah, there's not many Marvs out there, but
No, it's very cool. I was saying because
Actually,
the producer tonight is Dom. I like Dom and Marv. You guys sound like you should be hanging out at a social club like in the 1960s or something. It's fantastic.
Marv will get a beer after this. How about that? We'll
hey,
do some.
sounds great.
There we go.
We can talk about another great coach, Marv Levy.
Oh, there you go. Boy, that was heartbreaking. I've never felt for a guy. I think it was Dan Reeves and Marv Levy both lost 4 Super Bowls, and they were great coaches.
They were.
Marv, we have just a few more minutes here. Let's talk about some of the films you guys have playing. Such great movies. And there's one that's just around the corner. It's playing on the 18th, which I believe is Saturday. Mysteries of the Great Lakes. I'm fascinated by the Great Lakes. What can you tell us about this film?
Yeah, that's one I really like. We have 6 different documentaries going, and every quarter we drop 3 off and add 3 new ones. Mysteries of the Great Lakes has been a great one for us. It actually has a lot of footage from here in Shawano and Shiocton with the sturgeon spearing, when that or not spearing, the sturgeon spawning, where they come up the river, and it's you can walk across the river because of all the sturgeon that are there.
Wow.
So it has a lot of local connections, and that's really a lot of our more popular films have that local connection.
That's great. I've seen the sturgeon up here in Marinette when it's unbelievable, like these prehistoric fish. And we saw a couple that were probably 10 feet long. They're absolutely fascinating. And I didn't realize that that's what that film featured. So that sounds like a really cool. Now, if people wanted to see that, Marv, where would they go? Do they just show up and pay, or should they buy tickets ahead of time?
Those are free.
Okay. Wow.
We do recommend that you register for tickets ahead of time, because with our new model, we're very popular now. So there's a lot of people that want to see the different films. So on the website, you can register for the tickets there. That one shows pretty much every day at a different time. Our 6 different documentaries will rotate different times. So if you go on our website and just register for the tickets, there will be no cost. But we have 200 seats in our auditorium. We just want to make sure that we're not oversold.
Wow.
And then the same with the large exhibit. We do the same thing. We only allow so many people per hour, half hour to go through the exhibit, so that we can make it safe and a good experience for everyone. Actually, for Life in Space over Christmas, we were typically booked from the minute we opened to the minute we closed, with people that wanted to come in and see the exhibit. So
Is that one
fun.
Yeah, is Life in Space gone now?
Yeah, that left on January 5th.
Okay.
So we're about a couple weeks away from Genghis Khan. So that'll be our next large exhibit.
And I'm just sitting here thinking how much fun I would have, but are the films all family friendly as well?
Yes, and
Okay.
most of them you can't. In the world now of streaming movies, you can pretty much stream anything you want. But the documentaries that we get aren't available on streaming services. They're typically 40 minutes long, so we see a lot of families come in where you don't want to sit down for a 2.5-hour movie, but for 40 minutes you can keep a youngster interested. They're very popular. So we actually do have a space documentary yet, the Space, the New Frontier. is one of our documentaries, and then there's another one, Lewis and Clark, The Great Journey West, is very popular too.
That's the other one I was just going to ask you about in the space. Like, is the cinematography on that like from the Hubble telescope, or do you show like the Eagle Nebula and that kind of stuff? What is that? Because everyone is fascinated by space.
Right. It actually shows very well on our screen. Our Samsung Onyx screen is an LED screen, so it's not like your projector screens in most other movie theaters. The picture on it is extraordinary. It's one of only 3 in the United States currently.
Oh,
So
no
it's
kidding.
very high quality. And when you're showing like you say, the Crab Nebula and all these different things in space, the picture is really great.
Before we let you go, Marv, and thank you again for your time. What is there an exhibit you haven't had yet that you would love to get?
Oh boy. Actually, I'd like to talk about our last exhibit for this next summer. It's an exhibition about cancer, which you think, oh, who'd want to go see that? But it was created by MD Anderson out of Texas, and it will be the second place that it shows for that one too. They're going to premiere it in Houston, and then we get it second.
Wow.
But it's from cause to cure, so it's a hopeful and an educational exhibit about what's new and innovative in fighting cancer, and some feel good stories about good things that are happening in that arena. That'll be half of our exhibit hall, and then the other half will be a fine arts exhibit. So it'll be a new thing for us, that our first time, everybody thinks of cultural center, you need to have fine art there. It'll be our first exhibit that we truly have some fine art here coming in next fall.
Outstanding. Truly a treasure right there in Green Bay, the Mulva Cultural Center. Thank you so much. Check it out, folks. Thank you so much for your time tonight, Marv. Marv with the cool name. Let's do it again sometime. Have a great night.
Would love to. Thank you.
All right. We are coming right back after news, sports, and weather. Lots to discuss. We're going to tell you about some records that were set in Wisconsin, and Jim Healy will be here to talk movies at 6:35. It's all in Act 2. Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite, Civic Media Radio Network.
15 seconds.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who once tore his ACL playing chess, Pete Schwaba.
Hey, welcome back to Nite Lite, folks. It is time for Act 2 here on a Wednesday night in the beautiful state of Wisconsin. It is great to have you with me tonight. Wherever you're joining us from, welcome. Lots of fun here tonight. If you missed the first hour of the show, we talked to Marv Wall, a guy with a really cool name. Dom, would you agree?
I would. Like I said, I got to get a beer with him. And he agreed, too. So, this is a win-win.
Yeah, now it's awkward. Now who's gonna take that first step, right?
I know, yeah, and then he just left instantly after, but that's okay.
No, he was a lot of fun to talk to, and that is the voice of Dom Lee, who is filling in for Conrad tonight. I just confirmed what Conrad has. Conrad is out sick tonight. As it turns out, he has gigantism, so that's a tough one. I don't know that he'll be back tomorrow. It takes a while to kick it and to have everything come back into shape and size, but if anyone can do it, the guy who can bench almost 300 pounds can do it. Conrad will be just fine, folks. No need to worry about Conrad. So we'll confirm that too. There might be an update later in the show as to what Conrad is battling. My guess is it's kind of what I have, but maybe a little worse, just scratchy throat, cold, cough, that kind of stuff. But 'tis the season, and Conrad, get well soon. Dom Lee, it is great to work with you again, and let's make this, we're talking about coaches tonight. Let's make this a Notre Dame moment where we tap the sign and say, let's do radio like a champion for this second hour. Third hour, we can slack off, but let's really kick some ass this second hour.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you missed the first hour, folks, check it out at civicmedia.us. Marv Wall was here. He was a lot of fun to talk about. And that Mulva Cultural Center in downtown Green Bay is just a really cool space. So definitely check that out. We also discussed dangerous sports, water polo. Who knew it was dangerous? And darts as well, because there is alcohol involved. My guest this hour is is Jim Healy. He will be here at 6:35. Jim is one of the programmers of UW Cinematheque, which is at Vilas Hall. It is a free program. Check it out, folks. It's right there in Madison, and they bring in some outstanding films, some great prints, some restored classics. They have it all there, and they occasionally have great Q&As as well. It's like a year-long film festival experience right there at UW Cinematheque. Jim is also one of the programmers of the Wisconsin Film Festival, and he is a big-time cinephile. So we're going to talk movies with Jim at 6:35. Later in the show, Patty Vasquez, very funny comedian, will be here, and she is now also a columnist and a radio host, and I think she is a plumber. I'm kidding. She does all kinds of stuff, though, folks. It'll be great to have Patty here, and that's at 7:20. And I think Con. Oh, look what I did.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. It's Dom, Con. It's those two are. I encourage one of you to change, because Tom and Don, I don't know. You just did this too, Dom. Was that the 6-7?
No, I didn't. I didn't do it like that. Oh, I knew you were going to say something there. I knew you were going to say it.
Listen, that cracks me up. I saw what South Park did with 6-7 a couple weeks ago when I watched the season finale. Hilarious. My wife is a kindergarten teacher. Even the kindergarten kids are getting into the 6-7 stuff, and they go 6-7.
If anything, they're getting in more to it than 20 to 30 or higher, 20 higher. I mean, every younger generation kid is just they're getting obsessed with it. It's too much. It's way too much.
It's really strange, because my wife is a kindergarten teacher, and she says that she kind of talks. And for those of you not watching on the stream, we're moving our hands like kind of up and down each hand. That's the sign, the universal symbol for the phrase 6-7. And my wife talks like that automatically, and these kindergartners will give each other looks like side eyes, like she's doing 6-7, like kindergartners cracking up, and that cracks me up. I think it's a really funny thing.
if I was a kindergartner, I would be doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's
What else
it's
do
a
you have
good
to
meme.
look forward to during the day? A snack, a nap? Come on, get some 6-7 action there. But let's reintroduce our Nightlight question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
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 Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda. Question.
Question.
Questions.
Who is your favorite coach? And just to reiterate, folks, it could be a real coach, college, pro, any sport, high school, you name it. Maybe a coach you had, a fictional coach like Coach from Cheers, Coach Carter, Coach, what was his name in Remember the Titans, or the coach from Rudy, whatever. Gene Hackman from Hoosiers, that's a great coach. Let us know who your favorite coach was. You can let us know on the text line at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can also text us on the app, or if you are watching the radio on YouTube, Facebook, or X, you can drop us a stream comment. We like to read stream comments as well, and we love that there are people out there viewing the radio. That's always fun too. So let us know. We've got some clips here too. Dom, I got his name right this time. I didn't call him Conley. That's a great sounding name too, though, Dom.
It is. Yes, I gotta meet up with Conrad and talk about that. Yeah,
that sounds better
Mm-hmm.
than Dom Krieger. Although Dom Krieger sounds kind of cool too.
It doesn't. Yeah. People say Dominic. You can just switch. You can just switch the full government name if you want. It's up
Dominic
to you.
Krieger, full government name. Love it, buddy. All right, let's hear one of these clips. I tasked Dom with finding great coach clips, and I recommended Bobby Knight because he's always a good one. The other one is Dennis Green, and you found. Let's start with the one you found.
Okay.
Tell us about this clip.
Yeah, this is Mike Gundy. I think he was an Oklahoma State football coach. I don't remember the exact date, but he was mad at the media press for, kind of harping down on his young players, and he wanted it to harp down on himself. So let's take a listen.
That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them, the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Write something about me or our coaches. Don't write about a kid that does everything right, that's heart's broken, and then say that the coaches said he was scared. That ain't true. And then to say that we made that decision because Donovan Woods, because he threatened to transfer, that's not true. So get your facts straight. And I hope someday you have a child and somebody downgrades him and belittles him, and you have to look him in the eye and say, you know what? It's okay.
There we go.
I actually love that. Sticking up for his players. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great clip.
I loved it. There's an iconic little piece in there. I'm 40. I'm. Talk to me. I thought that was really funny. I just thought it was really funny.
I love a coach. First of all, any coach with a Southern accent goes up a couple points. They're always more fun to listen to. And I just love that he stuck up for his players like that. We've got a text from the 715. Christy says, Ted Lasso. I'm not surprised we heard Ted Lasso. People love Ted Lasso. Great choice, Christy, and thank you for listening. Hope everything is doing great there in Eau Claire tonight. It's great to have you. 608 says Tony Dungy, totally classy. That's a great one too. Super Bowl winner. Dom, do you remember that Super Bowl?
I do. Briefly. Again, not terribly, but I remember it. I remember a little bit. Yeah,
beat our Bears, buddy, in 06. That was.
I try to forget about it.
Yeah, that's right. And it was kind of. It's really weird. Peyton Manning, I know people love the guy. I'm fine with him. I don't love him, but he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. But in a Super Bowl, in a big game, I would take his brother. Eli took the Super Bowl. They won. His teams won because of his play.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning kind of backed in. I don't know if you remember this, but in 06, the Bears beat themselves. They fumbled. Cedric Benson fumbled. Rex Grossman threw a pick. It was raining. And Indy won. They won the game, no question. I'm just saying it wasn't because of Peyton Manning. Same thing with when he went to Denver. So great regular season quarterback, decent quarterback in the playoffs, but I would take his brother. I like that.
I 100% agree with you. In Denver, they had one of the best defenses ever assembled. So that makes
Von
complete
Miller.
sense. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Von Miller's
So
a demon.
that's a great choice. 608. Thank you. Tony Dungy is a classy dude. 715 says John Ratzenberger. Oh, this is in regard to what we were talking about earlier with Zoe Saldana being the highest grossing movie actor ever. 715 says John Ratzenberger is the third highest grossing actor of all time, mainly because of his many voiceover roles in Pixar movies and his brief appearance in The Empire Strikes Back. I did not know he was in The Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, he was in the Toy Story movies and very funny too. John Ratzenberger. Of course, I like him as Cliff Clavin, who played opposite his counterpart, Coach, who is Coach Ernie Pantuso from Cheers, is probably my all-time favorite fictional coach. You got another clip for us, Dom? Let's hear is the Bobby Knight one good? Let's hear the Bobby Knight one.
Let's hear it.
All right.
We only got two people that are going to tell you I'm not going to be here. One is our SID and the other is me. Who the hell told you I wasn't going to be here? I'd like to know. Do you have any idea who it was?
Yeah, I do, Coach.
Who?
I'll point them out to you in a while.
They were from Indiana, right?
No, they're not.
No, weren't from Indiana, and you didn't get it from anybody from Indiana, did you?
Could we please...
No, I'll handle this the way I want to handle it now that I'm here. You it up to begin with. Now just sit there or leave. I don't give a what you do. Now, back to the game. Who's got a question?
That's it.
He was such a jerk, but he's a good coach.
Yeah, he sounded terrible. I wouldn't want to talk to him at all.
Oh, he's awful. But look, the guy, you can't argue with success. I mean, he was a great coach for his time. That guy, he would not be a coach by modern day standards. He was just too, I mean, he would hit his players and stuff like that.
He would hit his players?
Oh yeah, he would totally he had some issues. He was like kind of a coach of the 60s and 70s, maybe I think he coached into the 80s, maybe even the 90s, but he was he kind of mellowed out as he got older, but he was very volatile. That's Bobby Knight. And we've got Monica from Mount Horeb says, couldn't narrow it down to just one. Flip Wilson in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Monica, great pull. Basketball movie. I saw it in the theater in the it's probably early 80s when that came out. Walter Matthau in The Bad News Bears. That is a great one as well. And Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own. That is the text of the night. Monica from Mount Horeb. Thank you very much. Totally forgot about Flip Wilson in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, which is also one of the greatest movie titles in history. 608. This is Mark from Prairie to Sac says Lombardi was not only a great coach, he was a great human being. He integrated his team and insisted that his players of all colors be treated equally. He also supported gay rights. That is correct. Mark, excellent text. And pardon me, another great quality about Vince Lombardi being just kind of ahead of the curve there, too, in addition to being a great coach. Carrie from Tosa in the 414 says Ted Lasso as well. People love their Ted Lasso. Do you watch Ted Lasso, Dom?
I have a little bit, yeah, and that makes sense. That's why we're getting so many feedback. He's a great coach. What can I say?
I gotta say, this is not a popular stance. All right, when we come back, I'm going to tell you what I think about Ted Lasso. Not as a coach, and I'm also going to tell you about some really cool records that you might not know were set here in Wisconsin. And we'll finish reading our text. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Nothing ever slows her down, and a mess is not allowed. Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle of our house in the middle of our street.
I just saw your text about Cindy, period. Is she still on the line? Question mark. Hey, Dom, can you hear me?
$15.
Let me know if she calls back, okay? I mean, unless I'm in the middle of an interview, I'd like to get her on. Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, folks. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday night. Dom, Lee, and I are having some fun here tonight in Conrad's absence. We did get a text about Conrad's condition. We'll update you here briefly. Pardon me. Tyler from Wisconsin Rapids says he heard Conrad's bubble blower backfired and he ballooned like the blueberry girl in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I don't, maybe that's true. I can't confirm that though. Tyler also says John Candy and Cool Runnings. Wow, nice pull. That's a great text. Thank you, Tyler. And we've got here we go. Todd or Billy from the 414 says probably Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights, the series. I never watched that. Friday Night Lights. Did you watch that, Tom?
I've watched it once. I don't quite remember it, but I watched it with my dad way back. It is a really good movie.
Is that the movie or is that the show? Oh, that's the movie, right? Friday Night Light. Oh, it was both. I think the movie. I think they turned it into a series after that. Cindy, if you're listening, call back. I missed Dom's message, so we'll get you on if you can call back in the next few minutes before we bring Jim Healy on at 6:35. Jim was here to talk movies and about what's coming up at the Wisconsin Film Festival and UW Cinematheque. We always love when Jim joins us to talk movies, and there is no one better to do it with than Jim Healy. So we have one more coach clip, and this is a great one. This is Dennis Green after his Arizona Cardinals lost to the Chicago Bears and I don't think the Bears scored an offensive touchdown. His team collapsed, and you can hear it in his voice. Here's Dennis Green.
4 picks against Grossman and 2 fumbles. What do you see about the Bears that would shut them down that way?
No, we just the Bears are what we thought they were. They're what we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in a preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Wow.
Ouch. I mean, I can't even imagine losing a game like that. I remember that game. But we've got, that's our question of the night, folks. Who is your favorite coach? And going to social media, Dave Hendrick, my pal Dave Hendrick on Facebook says, Ernie Pantuso, coach. Love coach. Mike Mercury, Madison-based stand-up comedian, says, coach. Craig T. Nelson from the show, coach. Eric Rathsack from Ask Your Mother also says he was going to say Craig T. Nelson as well. You can say that, Eric. We can all share these coaches. Matt Harper also says, he says Kyle Chandler as Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights. Another one for Friday Night Lights. Comedian Boris Hamilton, listening from Los Angeles, says Phil Jackson. We talked about Phil Jackson a little earlier. PJ, as Michael Jordan used to call him. Tim Baker says Don Knotts in Gus. I don't think I ever saw Gus.
I don't think I have either.
And then Tony on social media posted a picture of a purse that says Coach. Looks like a Louis Vuitton bag, maybe. Erica Larson says Jim Mora and posted a meme of that crazy Jim Mora when he kept saying playoffs. He had this crazy weird voice. It's always great however you guys reach us. Social media, text, stream, app. It's all great. Bridget in the 818 says Phil Jackson. He is smart and cool. Kind of a hippie too. So he was a good coach. No question about that. Thank you, Bridget, for the text. So, Dom, here are some records you might not know that were set in Wisconsin. I saw this on Up North News. Love the work they do there. Ellie Bordeaux is coming back on the show soon. She is one of the reporters for Up North News. But These are records that were set in Wisconsin that you probably didn't know about. And the first one I'm going to say, this is number 7. If you go to upnorthnewswi.com, the most llamas pulling a carriage. That's probably why you moved to Wisconsin, right, Don?
What? I didn't even know that was a real thing.
This is so crazy. Last night we had the Green Bay llama, Jason Jerry, on the show, and I thought llama in Green Bay, and this was a real thing. Mayor Jim Schmidt walked a llama over the bridge. So Jason started a Facebook group called the Society of the Llama or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A weird thing to associate with Wisconsin, but number 7 on this Up North news list says most llamas pulling a carriage. It's unusual to see any llamas in Wisconsin in general, especially when there are 56 of them at once.
Oh my God.
I mean,
what?
Honestly,
I gotta see this. I gotta see this for myself.
There's a Stratford, Wisconsin resident was able to hitch 56 llamas as well as 8 ponies to a cart and break the world record for most llamas pulling a carriage. I mean, of all the records to aim for.
Listen, that's the one to hit. That's the one that I would love that record. You kidding me?
The question is, were the llamas doing this against their will? What if they didn't want anything to do with this record? Here's another one. Number 10, most siblings to compete in a marathon. It was the Caprol family, and the siblings and Oshkosh natives ranged in ages from 18 to 44 and all completed a marathon, 26.2-mile race in under 6 hours. That's a pretty cool one. They went to Oshkosh Lords Academy. They were always good at sports when I was in high school, too. Here's another one. This was not a surprise. Largest cheese platter board. Is it any surprise that Wisconsin is home to a cheese-based world record? It is not. America's Dairyland is well known for its cheese production, so it makes sense that the state could produce the largest ever cheese platter board. The board was put together by Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, a nonprofit organization based in Madison that markets and promotes Wisconsin dairy products. Do you like cheese, Dom?
I love cheese.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why I actually moved here, because I'm also originally from Chicago, but cheese is kind of what got me. Even though I do have celiac disease, it doesn't matter.
Do you really?
I do,
But
yes.
Is there gluten in cheese?
There is.
Probably. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there should be. All I know is it was recently diagnosed, so.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Maybe that's what Conrad has.
You know what? I've got to ask him about that, too.
That doesn't work, though, because you're here and you have it. All right, we are coming right back. Jim Healy is on the way, folks. We're talking movies after the news. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We're up all night to the sun. We're up all night to get some. We're up all night for good fun. We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
Can you just sound check?
We could do a sound check. Hey, Jim.
Hey.
Can you hear me? Hey.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'm just doing a quick sound check real quick.
Okay.
Right. Can you say what's your favorite kind of pizza?
Oh, I love sausage and onion and a little bit of red pepper.
Okay.
And a little bit of hot red pepper
Okay.
too. How's that sound?
That sounds good, and so do your mic. Your mic sounds good, and your pizza recommendations.
All right.
We'll be back in about 3 minutes, okay?
Cool.
All right, guys, 15 seconds.
Thank you, Dom. Looking forward to it, Jim. Welcome back. I am Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. This is a Wednesday evening edition of the show, folks. But we're going a little farther. We have to because Conrad, we are a man down. Conrad is sick. And I just got word from another source, Dom. Conrad has alien hand syndrome.
Oh,
so it's not gigantism. It's not celiacs. It's not the pig's flu. He has got alien hand syndrome. I don't even know what that is. But we're going to get to the bottom of it. I hope that means he can work the board tomorrow night. But if not, you need to be in the bullpen, pal.
We're just going through the whole lines of things that could be wrong with him.
There are probably HIPAA restrictions on this, but that's not for me to say. You know what? I'm surprised we haven't heard Mike McCarthy. We heard Holmgren, and this is Wisconsin. For whatever reason, maybe it was Aaron Rodgers, but Mike McCarthy, I don't think is as popular as he should be. And by all accounts I've heard, he is a great guy. And he delivered a Super Bowl to Green Bay. But, maybe there are McCarthy fans out there and they just haven't responded. In any event, let's get to our next guest of the night. Very excited to welcome this next gentleman. He is one of our frequent flyers here. We love to talk movies with this next guy. He is one of the programmers of UW Cinematheque and the Wisconsin Film Festival. And I believe he also coached the Packers for a stint in the early 60s, but we'll get to the bottom of that as well. Mr. Jim Healy joins us now over the stream. Hey, buddy.
Hey, call me Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lomhealy, I think, is you got to get that Irish out there, Jim.
Vince Lumbago.
There you go. How are you tonight, Jim?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Great to have you here. I'm doing very well.
Good.
We have. Do you have a favorite coach, Jim? Speaking of coaches,
No.
that's our question of the night.
No, we've talked before about the number of movies I see, every year, because I brag about it. It's one of the things I do, and one of the reasons is I just but and I almost never mentioned this, but one of the reasons why I'm able to get my numbers up so high is that I watch almost no professional sports at all at home. I go to sports. I go to Badgers games here, football, basketball, hockey, volleyball, and I've been to three. I went to three MLB games last year, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it live, but I don't follow it at all. Like I can't get caught up in that. I probably could if I started to, but that's just it's just one of the things. So I watch 700 movies a year.
Well, those sports would cut into that because, like, here's where I'm at with sports. I can only watch my team now, and if there's a great game on between two titans, whether it's the Game 7 of the World Series or an NFL playoff game, I'll watch the last few minutes because that's great drama, and it's like car chases. You don't know the ending. Like typically in movies, usually you see the ending coming. That's not the case with sports. So I'll always have like a thing for sports, but I'm with you. I cannot just sit and watch a game. The commercials drive me crazy. And another thing, Jim, I don't ever need to hear a coach talk again after a game, unless they're crazy or outlandish. Heard it, seen it. You're not going to impress me.
Throwing a chair.
Well, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. It's very dramatic. I just see it. And I even see the drama of the full season and the suspense in that. But it's never been in my focus. Everybody in my family follows sports. All my brothers, my father, all my cousins and aunts and uncles. But I just never. It just always got in the way of movie watching. So
that's so great. And let's a tip of my hat. Here's why I prefer movies typically, is because I know what I'm getting. I'm going to see, especially if it's a movie I've seen before. And I know that sounds like, well, why would you put that above a great sporting event or something? Well, a movie I've seen before, I obviously, if I'm watching it again, I love it. I love everything about it typically. And I know what I'm getting.
But you value surprise, especially in both. It's in something you haven't seen before, right? But also in the surprise of how you're going to feel seeing something you've seen before and loved. How are you going to react to it this time? Are you able to watch it with somebody like one of your kids and see it through their eyes? And is it that much more exciting? Does it reveal itself more to you than it did whenever you last saw it 5, 10 years ago, whatever? And that's the best.
That's the best. And you're right. Like with your kids, like I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood recently with my daughter who had never seen it. And they pick up things that you didn't pick up. And it's like, and I'm amazed, Jim, the sign of a great movie to me is when I have seen it before, I know how it ends and I still feel the tension. Like in a scene, like for example, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that scene where Brad Pitt is talking to Bruce Dern on the Spawn movie. Right. It's so great. I know what happens.
Yeah. That was supposed to be Burt Reynolds. Almost right up until they were shooting, and Burt. It was right before he died, and he was getting sick, and he was going to play Spawn. So Bruce Dern came in at the last minute and did a favor for Tarantino.
I love those little tidbits. To be honest, Burt Reynolds probably would have been great at that. Like
I would have loved to have seen him in that.
Yeah,
and it would have been his last movie. What a one to go out on,
I saw a show, Jim. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but since Burt Reynolds has been brought up, I saw it was a one-man show of some writer years and years ago, right after I had moved to LA. A guy in my building had tickets. He was like the Mike Damone of my apartment building. Mike Damone, of course, from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but he got all these tickets. So we went and saw this writer who had written on all these great shows, and he had phenomenal stories. And one of them was about Burt Reynolds. And he said he was doing Punch Up on Smokey and the Bandit. And he was in Burt Reynolds' trailer. They were working on the script together, and they broke for the day. And he said, I'm leaving. And Burt Reynolds says, we're having a party later. Come on by. And Frank Sinatra was also in Smokey and the Bandit, I think, if I got the movie
Cannonball
right.
Run 2.
Or Cannonball Run. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Same difference. Anyway,
Yeah,
he said,
exactly.
he goes, you know what? Frank Sinatra is having something too. I really want to meet Sinatra, and I just want to go to that, but thanks for the invitation. And Burt Reynolds looked at him in all seriousness and said, Sinatra's not where the heat's at, baby. That is the one thing I remember for that show, and it has always stuck with me, and I can totally hear Burt Reynolds saying that. I love it. So,
yeah, he was a giant star.
Oh, he was huge. Yeah. And there was that time where Sinatra wasn't, he reached his peak fame. Then, people kind of go away. Not that he ever wasn't popular, but then he has a resurgence, and you can kind of understand why he said that,
The story I heard about Burt Reynolds recently, speaking of roles he didn't play, was that James L. Brooks, who had written a film in 1979, which one of Burt Reynolds' best performances, called Starting Over.
Oh, yeah.
It's a movie where Burt shaves his mustache off, so it's of high quality. It's a very good movie, but he James L. Brooks didn't direct it, and he was about to make his directorial debut with Terms of Endearment. He wrote Terms of Endearment. He wrote the part of Garrett, the astronaut, for Burt Reynolds.
Oh, wow.
And Burt Reynolds turned it down to do Stroker Ace, I think.
That's like a stepchild to Cannonball Run or Smokey.
Exactly. I think it's the year before. Yeah, I think those were his next two consecutive movies, were Stroker Ace and Cannonball Run 2.
And now that you just mentioned James L. Brooks, I have another. Okay. So a friend of mine had Clippers tickets. We were going to sit in a luxury box. Nobody cares about the LA Clippers, but we're like, oh, let's go eat the food and sit in a luxury box. It'll be great. So my friend Jeff Lewis was with us, and he thought he saw Leonard Maltin. He got all in a lather. He was blushing. He's like, oh my God, Leonard Maltin. That's Leonard Maltin right up there. It turns out it was James L. Brooks, not Leonard Maltin. And he's like, oh, and he wasn't as impressed for some reason. It was
yeah,
God.
Brooks has got the Oscars.
He's got everything. The guy's a giant. That's so great.
Oh,
did you see his new movie, by the way?
I did see it, and it's a disappointment.
Yeah,
but it's still interesting. It's worth seeing. I know you and I are both mutual fans of Albert Brooks.
Oh yeah,
his James L. Brooks's frequent collaborator, no relation. Yeah. But the best scene in the movie is in the last 20 minutes of the film, and it's a scene between the leading lady. Emma Mackey and Albert Brooks, and it's great. It's almost worth seeing the movie for.
Really?
But it's just, it gets this feeling as soon as you start watching it, like the narration kicks in, and there's all this music kind of making up for things, and there's so many characters, and you just get the feeling that there was probably a 3-hour movie, not necessarily one that was better, and they cut it down to make it whatever it is, and it just feels like patched together. It never really gels.
That's interesting. I have not seen it. When I heard it was coming out, I was like, oh, I'm really curious to see this, but I hate when I wait and hear things that are disappointing, because then I don't go see it.
Yeah. No, nothing would have stopped me from seeing. He's a major filmmaker, and he hadn't made a movie for 15 years. Yeah, I think he's 85 years old. I don't know how many more he's got in him, if he's even going to try. I was very curious about it. Do you know anything about?
Sorry, what, Jim? Say that again.
Sorry, he did a movie in 1994 called "I'll Do Anything."
Oh yeah, I saw that years ago.
Nick Nolte. Yeah. So the movie that came out with Nick Nolte, Albert Brooks, Julie Kavner, Jolie Richardson. It's a Tracy Ullman. It's a comedy about actors and filmmakers in Hollywood. fighting the whole idea of like test screenings and test audiences who can say yay or nay to a movie. Brooks shot the whole movie as a musical with full musical numbers by Prince, Sinead O'Connor, Carole King, all these like top songwriters, and at the last minute, just before release, ditched all of the musical numbers, cut them all out. Got nervous because of a bad test screening, and released the movie without anything. And about 10 years ago, he was mentioning that he was thinking about re-releasing it with the numbers back in, but Prince, I guess, had more say at that point and put the kibosh on it.
I would love to see it. I don't remember much about the movie. I remember kind of liking it, but I honestly, I don't remember much about it at all. The movie we were talking about before, for those of you interested, is Ella McKay. And it just did not perform well. And I'll see it eventually, Jim, but I'm not going to rush out to the theaters, I guess, when it gets reviews like that. And
I know you'll catch up. It's probably just as good on Hulu or wherever it's going to be streaming.
Yeah, exactly. My guest is Jim Healy. He joins us periodically to talk about movies. And Jim, we've got about you know what? Let's just keep this till after the break. I'd love to hear what you have coming up at Cinematheque, and if you have anything you can tell us about the Wisconsin Film Festival, and then we'll get into some movies and potential Oscar movies. Great night. Jim Healy is here, and in the 920, Herb Brook is 920's coach, and that's Stan from De Pere. Miracle on Ice, yes, of course. Okay, that was a great. He says best sports speech ever, and that was outstanding. We have had some outstanding choices here tonight. We are coming right back with Jim Healy. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Just like the sunny morning light.
15 seconds.
All right.
I like it, Dom. Good choice, buddy. Hey, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. Great night to be here. Conrad is out. Dom Lee is bravely filling in for Conrad, who has some mysterious illness that we are still trying to get to the bottom of. But the good thing is Jim Healy is here, folks, from joining us over the stream from Madison. A fantastic cinephile and one of the programmers of UW Cinematheque and the Wisconsin Film Festival. Jim, what is coming up that you could tell us about at UW Cinematheque? And in your opinion, do people take advantage of that enough, this Cinematheque program?
Well, enough for me would be, our regular Cinematheque theater is only 170 seats, and enough for me would be a full house every night, or maybe just enough empty seats to accommodate just about everybody.
Sure.
And it's not like that, but we're doing increasing numbers as the years and months have gone by, especially since we returned to in-person screenings after COVID. And regularly now, our average attendance is 2/3 full. Now we start our seasons with a premiere series. So on Thursday night, we're screening new films that are making their first area theatrical screenings in Madison, and you can see them for free. And a lot of times they're, titles that are, very much, high profile movies that are being well reviewed and coming off a hot festival circuit run. So, for instance, we ended the season in December with The Secret Agent, which is this terrific new movie from Brazil.
Dying to see that.
Oh, it's great. And it's a real cinephiles movie too. About 20% of the movie takes place within the projection booth, and the room's just adjacent to it in a movie theater in Recife, Brazil. But that's showing The Omen in 1977, by the way.
Oh, nice.
But we're starting our next season a week from tomorrow. That's the 22nd, with a movie called Surat. It's a French-Spanish co-production directed by the French director Olivier Lax, and it's been called, it's been on many top 10 lists for 2025. Justin Chang, who writes on film for The New Yorker and reviews for NPR, called it the best movie of the year. So I think that's the kind of show where we can expect a full house. And, I recommend arriving early, because sometimes it's nights like that we're full up before showtime, and we have to turn some people away. But most of the time, not. There's almost always an empty seat.
That's great.
But you do have to get there by showtime. Otherwise, we don't like let in stragglers. So.
Get locked out. What about the Wisconsin Film Festival, Jim? I imagine things are ramping up and you're making your decisions and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything, I know it's early, but it's coming up fast. Is there anything you could tell us about this year's festival ahead of time?
I'm trying to think if there's anything I can leak, and I don't think there is. Things are, you're correct. Things are being confirmed. We're booking things one film at a time, sometimes 2 or 3 films at a time, working out deals, and we're actively looking at things. We're doing our last festival visits to check things out, but we like to keep our titles under wraps. I can tell you there's going to be another great balance of new movies from around the world, of all lengths, shorts and features, and then a healthy representation of rediscoveries, restorations, films from throughout cinema history that hopefully will be either something completely new and revealing for you, or something you've seen before that will be just as revealing the second time you see it, or third or fourth.
Yeah. Did you see the threesome from last year's?
I just caught up with it. I was one of the last movies I saw in 2025. I watched it on Netflix. The very good director, Chad Hartigan. Really, really talented film. It was a surprising film. I was also really kind of. I liked the fact that it felt like a smart, not conventional, but a smart traditional romantic comedy, but on an indie film's budget. It looked great. The dialogue was snappy. All the acting was great. But it all filmed in Little Rock, Arkansas, and
is that right? I didn't know that.
I think that might be where the filmmaker's from. But really, really entertaining movie. Very, and one of those things where you really don't know where it's going from start to finish.
I loved it. I thought it was. I'm not a rom-com guy. I mean, I like a good rom-com. I don't seek them out. I thought that one kind of blew me away. There's a big twist in it, and then the writing I thought was very thoughtful with what happens after the twist. I really dug it, and it had an indie feel, and I think I like that about it too. Jim Healy is here, folks. We are going to break for the news, and I hope you can stick with us, Jim, because we haven't even gotten to movies yet. So we'll do a few more minutes with Jim after the break, and we'll talk about what he thinks might be in the prime position for an Oscar this year, as well as some other stuff that we've watched. Craig Knit on the stream says it may be a bit narcissistic, but I'm a big fan of Coach Sam Johnson in Rise of Dearmageddon. And JB Thompson says I would second Craig's opinion, a local indie film there. So good shout out and good plug, guys. Well done. Very well done. Feel my face. We're coming back with Jim Healy. Patty Vasquez coming up at 7:20. Lots to come in Act 3. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network. meant to tell you the other day, I typically
15 seconds, guys.
send out promos to these people as well, just FYI. Okay, thanks, Tom.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who does his own stunts, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Nite Lite, folks. As we kick off the third act here on this gorgeous Wednesday night in the state of Wisconsin. What's a relative thing? Gorgeousness. If you missed the first 2 hours, folks, they are available in podcast form at civicmedia.us. We talked to Marv Wall in the first hour at the outstanding Mulva Cultural Center here in Green Bay. He does great work over there. And in the second hour, we also talked to our current guest, Jim Healy. We will be back with Jim in just a moment. Our question of the night is, who is your favorite coach? Coach Carter dropped. It was the anniversary of the Coach Carter dropping. So that got me thinking. I don't think we've ever done a question about coaches. We do sports questions from time to time, but who is your favorite coach? Be part of the fun. Let us know. 855-752-4842. 855-75-CIVIC. You can also text us on the app, or if you're watching the radio on the stream at Facebook, YouTube, or X, drop us a stream comment, and I will read it on the radio. Love when you guys participate. Coming up in this hour, Patty Vasquez will be here at 7:20. Patty's a very talented comedian and radio host, and she is performing in Wisconsin, and I will tell you where while she is here. Patty's great fun. We are from the same hood in Chicago, so I'm excited to have Patty, the city girl, on the show. That's coming up. But right now we have a few more minutes with our pal, Jim Healy, who joins us every so often to talk movies, and he sees more of them in any given year than some people see in a lifetime. Jim, what was your count for 2025? How many movies did you end up watching?
Well, movies that were new to me was actually a pretty low number. It was around 450, I think.
It's a low number. I love it.
I mean, you know, I had some years that were way past that recently. Wow. But I was really committed to getting to some of these Blu-rays that have been sitting on my shelf and catching up with them and getting the shrink wrap off. So I was seeing I saw a lot of movies this year, but watching them with the family and introducing them to things like, I had never watched my Blu-ray of Bonnie and Clyde. We put that on about a month ago and things like that. So I spent a lot of time, a lot of rewatches, as the kids say these days.
Yeah. Jim, what is Blu-ray? How does that compare to because most people, I think, even if you have 4K, if your TV's not 4K, it doesn't really matter as much. But where does Blu-ray fall into in terms of quality or cinematic quality?
Well, in the simplest terms, DVD came first, and that's, standard definition. So that's, the basic look of what TVs were, the tube TVs, or even the flat screen TVs before we had HD TV, before we had high definition TV, which is I guess the standard is, it's not 2K, it's not 4K, it's 1080p. Yeah. So that's that's Blu-ray for you. But now they have 4K Blu-ray that boosts the image even further. And if you have a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player, you can look at things that way. And it's an amazing one. I watched Red Dawn on 4K Blu-ray last weekend.
Oh, wow.
Introduced that one to my family. Wolverines, man.
Does that hold up? I don't remember that. I mean, I remembered I saw it, but I don't know how I would view it as an adult. I don't.
I'll say this: it's a silly movie in many ways. When I was 15, I thought it was silly, and I probably liked it less than I do now. as a war movie, as it's pretty good. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's another movie you get the feeling that like they just lopped a half hour out of it to keep it moving, and it moves really nicely. It's very fast moving. The invasion takes place as soon as the movie opens, and it's and then they're in the mountains, and they're fighting the Ruskies and the Cubans, and but there are things in the movie like I think it's Charlie Sheen shows up to witness the execution of his father, and you wonder like, why is he there?
Oh, yeah.
Why is he, and you never really know.
Right.
And then that leads to a whole thing, and it's like, it's got Rambo style ambushes, and you go, well, how did they have time to do that? And did they know those guys were going to be in that exact spot so they could pop up out of the ground? And it's like it's silly, but and then you think about the worries about invasion, and that I guess were on people's mind at the time, but I don't know. I don't know if they really were, because it wasn't that big of a hit, right? But it's
right. I remember thinking like
the
first time I saw it, I thought I had all the answers to life, and I was young and thought so I would love to watch it again because it's a great premise. Jim, let's jump into some more current films though. Like, what do you have an odds based on what you've seen? And I assume, even though we don't know what's being nominated yet for the Oscars, you've probably seen them all. But what do you have a front runner for what you think, or the Jim Healy Best Picture of the Year?
Well, usually I don't like to speculate, or I'm not up at, but it really seems to me what I'm gleaning from what's out there is that One Battle After Another seems to be headed towards it. Is there anything else that seems to be, like, oh, that could be, more people like that, or, it doesn't, like, it seems like it's just hitting that right balance of the Oscar voters, the public liked it enough,
right.
and it's winning all the critics awards and on the tops of the list. I was thinking, I really liked Marty Supreme too. I liked it probably just as much as One Battle. And I was thinking like that might give it a run for its money if it had like gone a bit further at the box office. Like, it's doing fine, like I think just as well as One Battle, but like if it had been the type of thing where people were really responding to it. But I think they both have that filmmakers who are interested in actual human beings and all their flaws, and
right,
which makes for great comedy a lot of the time. But I think it's not the kind of like obvious virtuous heroes that that I think some audiences would respond stronger to. Lay out their money for.
The only other one I haven't seen Marty Supreme yet. There's a few films I still have to see, but like I just thought Sinners, like I really liked the film. I thought it had all the elements, like music, acting, script, costume design, set design. It just is such a great movie, all encompassing. All those elements are there. But I don't know. It is vampires, and I've heard people say, they probably wouldn't go that route. But I got no problem with One Battle.
You might have something there with Sinners. That might be its biggest, One Battle's biggest competition. And it should be interesting to see, because they're both from the same studio, so should be interesting to see how much money they put into the campaigns, and if it's going to be equal, and
right. Warner Brothers, and they have another film too. I was just reading about this the other day. I thought they had another film,
another Oscar contender.
Yeah. You said earlier in our text exchange, you noticed the parallel between Avatar and One Battle After Another.
Oh yeah. So I went to see Avatar. I saw it in the theater, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked it more than the last one. I had a good time. I appreciated the immersive experience. Saw the 3D IMAX, and then I listened to a podcast afterwards with Guillermo del Toro interviewing James Cameron, and Guillermo del Toro identified a sequence of the film as a reenactment of the sacrifice of Abraham. And if you've seen this new Avatar film, you'll know the scene where a parent or a surrogate parent deliberates over killing their child.
Yeah.
And then I watched One Battle After Another the other day, and I realized it's got the same thing with not to be a spoiler, but it's got the same thing with another character who
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
And I just wondered, like, I was just thinking, is there something in the air at the moment? Certainly both movies are about generational conflicts and one generation handing down something to another, and I suppose that's the ultimate darkest moment,
right.
That you can do it. It's interesting how differently both films handle it. I mean, because One Battle After Another is basically a satire. It's basically a comedy. It's it's handled with a bit of buffoonery, but
yeah.
But Avatar, it's this deadly serious moment. Both very suspenseful.
Yeah, it's interesting you said it, because I was talking with my son, Joe, who and we were talking about, he noticed something in One Battle, the bathrobe and the ponytail. He thought that it was it kind of reminded him of Jedis from Star Wars, and we may have talked about this last time, but also the Big Lebowski with the bathrobe and the ponytail. Like, he thought maybe they were crossing, or it was like some sort of tribute to Star Wars and the Coen brothers or something. So it's fun to pinpoint stuff like that. We just have about a minute or so left, Jim. Do you have what did you think of Train Dreams? I really liked it.
I liked it too. It surprised me. I'll say this. I thought the aspect ratio was weird. It was like a box in a box. I don't know if you noticed it
on
your TV, but it's like with the folded corners and the I didn't understand, why doing that when TVs are set for 16:9, 16 by 9. But it was, it was nice. It's, very, kind of sad film. A lot of people have compared it to Terrence Malick. I thought it had its own kind of quiet poetry. I really liked the performances and the kind of certainly the kind of episodic nature of it, where the episodes, there aren't like really significant things that happen in this guy's life, but
right.
I mean, they're significant to him, to his life, but they're very surprising and kind of odd, and there's not one, you can't really predict where it's going from one scene to the next, which is always a thing you hope for in movies.
Right, and it's one of those films, like, you just keep waiting for something huge to happen, but it's like life. It's just sort of, it was a great character piece. Hey, we didn't even scratch the surface, but I loved having you here anyway. It was fun. The tangent we got off on was fun as well. So thank you so much.
Always happy to come on and almost scratch the surface with you.
We'll do that. We'll do some scratching next time, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Okay, we'll get a little deeper.
Talk to you soon. Okay, buddy. That's Jim Healy. Check out UW Cinematheque and keep your eyes peeled for the Wisconsin Film Festival. Such a great time, folks, there in Madison. We are coming right back with Patty Vasquez. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Hello, Patty. Can you hear me? Patty, hello? Can you hear me, Patty?
I forgot to tell you she's deaf.
that's good to know. Yeah. All right, let me check your mic settings. Hello, Patty. Can you hear me? You might be glitching out a little bit. I can see your camera.
Can you see her on the camera?
Yep, I can see her on the camera.
Oh, okay.
It does look like it might be glitching a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect. There we go. I
Sorry
can hear
about
you.
I was trying to be all fancy with my microphone and am I glitching? Is my video like sticking? Are we okay or no?
Your video is still glitching a little bit, I will be honest, but your audio sounds perfect. So
all right, well, it'll be glitchy visually and I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. As long as we can hear you, I'm excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Always.
I don't know where else to go. Well, you know, my son has a form of autism, and so the basement's the only place I can go, and I forgot. I haven't been down here since for a while, and I didn't realize that we might be glitching. I don't know where else to sit.
Well, just if something happens, we'll just grab your phone number, Patty, and we can do it over the phone. Not
absolutely.
A big deal.
Yep.
I mean, I could switch to my phone. Would that be better? I could do the video there. Do we have time even? I'm sorry.
Whatever you think. It's up to you, Dom.
I would say for now it's good. We can keep the audio going and
yeah, we're here.
Yep. Perfect. All right, we got 15 seconds.
It is glitching. I can see it glitching. Oh well. Let me see.
Welcome back. We are jamming through the third act here, folks, on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba, and it is so great to have you with me tonight here as we broadcast statewide here in Wisconsin on the radio and parts beyond on the app and stream. So however you are joining us, welcome. And we've got, I just want to clear something up. Dom, I did find out what Conrad has, what he is suffering from. It is not gigantism. It is not alien hand syndrome. He has evil twinism. He is out battling this person who is in, and that makes sense because he didn't seem like himself the last couple nights working the board. So I hope he figures this out and will be back to us tomorrow night. So,
oh man,
if not, it's good to know you're in the bullpen there in Madison. So
I'll talk to him and make sure he keeps his head up.
Please do. All right, now it is my pleasure, folks, to welcome one of my old stand-up pals. She is a very talented stand-up comedian and has her own radio show in Chicago. And she's done she's had a phenomenal career. We'll talk all about it. And you can see her in Wisconsin very soon. She joins us now over the stream, Miss Patty Vasquez. Welcome to Nite Lite, Patty.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. And it's great to see you. I know that I'm a little glitchy, but people listening don't know. By the way, we're in the Civic Media family. We love having Dan Schaefer on. And I know that you and I tried connecting a while ago. Would love to have you on our show as well.
Yes. Well, anytime. And Dan and I have talked about The Wire on this show before. He's a great guy. And I love the recombobulation area.
Yes.
Dan is top notch. And the glitching is no problem. You're only glitching on video. On a day-to-day basis, I glitch in real life, Patty, and that's a problem. So
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Hey, before we get into this too heavy, do you have a favorite coach? Our question of the night is, who is your favorite coach?
Oh, wow. I mean,
think about it.
From my childhood? I mean,
or fictional TV movie coach, actual coach?
Well, then Friday Night Lights. I love Coach on Friday Night Lights is my favorite. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
We've got some votes for Friday Night Lights tonight too. So
yeah, Kyle Chandler is for many reasons one of my favorites. Not the Billy Bob Thornton version in the movie, the series.
Yeah, I think in terms of I'm just going to I don't mean to make assumptions, but I think from if I was a female, I would probably go with Kyle Chandler as well over Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
So, and I don't even know if that's what you meant, but I'm putting myself out there. I'm in touch with my feminine side, and I would pick Kyle Chandler. That's all I'm saying.
I appreciate that. I now having been asked, I have to, since I have not listened to the other folks' answers. What is your answer? Now I'm curious.
Well, I said, I grew up. I'm a Chicago sports fan. I cheer for the Chicago pro teams, the Wisconsin college teams. I've spent time in both states. I went Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, because I like that he speaks his mind. And I went Vince Lombardi because even though I'm a Bear fan, Vince Lombardi's a great coach.
Sure. I can see that. I'm loving Ben Johnson. And I'm not saying just because he ripped his shirt off in the locker room, but that was delightful too. See?
Yeah, he's not missing any workouts. He's doing okay.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, you and I are also, Patty, from the same hood, more or less.
Really?
Jeff Park, Portage Park.
Yeah. I didn't know you were from the northwest side of Chicago.
I am. I grew up in Portage Park, Six Corners area too. And till I was 12, moved to Wisconsin, went back there, as you know, to start doing stand-up comedy. Lived there for another 12 years before I went to LA, but a great area, great place to be from.
Yeah, there's and it's really and there's a lot of great new shops. I know when you were a kid, it was very vibrant. I mean, remember the Sears, all that whole area was bustling, and it had a little bit of a downturn, but now it's coming back strong. There's a great theater there, wonderful restaurants. Yeah, love it.
That's fantastic. All right, so also you did stand up for me. I booked this local fundraiser here in Marinette, where I currently live, where I'm doing the show from tonight because Conrad has gigantism. But we have a show once a year that I put together, and I love when I get to bring friends of mine into town to do stand-up, whether they're from Chicago or Milwaukee. This year, they're both from Appleton, Rob Brackenridge and Mike Merrifield.
Nice.
Did you have a good time when you were here? It was so good to hang with you.
It was great. And you know, it's funny, what I'll always remember about that, not only how much fun it was, the audience, like just really wonderful folks, great to hang out with afterwards. Also, the last weekend, I decided that weekend I would not be taking road gigs in the deepest parts of the winter because there was a snowstorm. I don't know if you remember when I was driving up, there was a snowstorm that night, and because it was a Friday night, and the next night I had to be in Indiana. And on my way back from your gig, there were jackknife semis, there were minivans and ditches, and I was like, you know what? This has to be it. This has to be one of my last middle of the winter gigs.
Listen, the first year that the comics don't make it due to weather is going to be the last year we do this, because I do 5 minutes to open the show and I'm terrified because I don't do stand-up really anymore. So me having to do like an hour and a half is the most terrifying thing ever. Patty Vasquez is here, folks. We've got already a texter or someone on the stream saying Patty Vasquez is basically my hero. I am in Chicago, but a Brewers fan and my favorite coach right now. And maybe all time is Pat Murphy. That guy is unique. And then we've got another person on the stream here, Dash, just a bunch of clapping emojis. So that's kind of exciting, Patty. You've got fans.
There you go. Well, you know, I love Wisconsin. I spent a lot of time there. I went to Girl Scout camp for 6 years in East Troy at Camp Juniper Knoll. We actually have a little fan club called Fibs for Wisconsin. Just saying, I love the area. I spent a lot of time in Racine, Kenosha, Elkhorn. I have a lot of friends in southern Wisconsin in particular.
Outstanding. Well, we've got Patty here for a few more minutes. We're going to break for news. We're going to come back, and I'm going to tell you where you can see Patty live in just a few days. And she is an outstanding stand-up comic and good at many other things, too. We'll talk about all of it after the news. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You can't
15 seconds, guys.
Bitchin'.
Get up home. I wanna drive them home. When you're feeling blue, I think it's just of you.
Welcome back. Great to have you here, folks. Our question of the night, one last time, is who is your favorite coach? We just got a text from the Steady Eddie who says, Pete, favorite coach, head coach of the Screaming Eagles, Hayden Fox from the TV show Coach, played by Craig T. Nelson. The T stands for tonsillectomy. His father was a surgeon. I did not know that. Nor did I watch the show, and I like Craig T. Nelson, too. I don't know why I never watched it. Maybe that's what Conrad has, Dom. Tonsillitis.
He's up to 6 things now.
He's got all these things. I feel bad.
Every single issue ever.
I know. All right, we'll get caught up on some more text to get to. But first, we have to get back to our guest. The tremendous Patty Vasquez is here. She is a Chicago-based stand-up comic and radio host and just an all-around swell person. Patty, it's great to have you here tonight.
It's wonderful to be here. I like swell. There's, words we don't use enough, like swell and whimsy. I've been using the word whimsy a lot more.
I had a guest named earlier named Marv. I love that old school name. And then he used the phrase youngsters, which I haven't heard in whatever. So maybe there's something going on here tonight.
Maybe. By the way, someone just told me they love my name, Patty, because they love vintage names, Pete. Vintage.
Whoa, because it's not Nikki or Haley or something like that, maybe?
No, it's fine.
It's a classic.
Yeah. I mean, like when we were like Eleanor, like that's a vintage name, which is also fun.
Yeah. That's a great one too. Your son, you post about a lot on social media, has a great name too. A great Irish name.
Oh, Declan. Yeah. It's so perfect for I have an older son named Griffin. And so when you name your first kid with something that unique, you can't be like, and Joe, which would be fine too. But
I have a Joe who has a cousin Griffin. They're all great names, but I agree with you. You're absolutely right.
Exactly.
So you've got a date coming up here. You were just talking about how much you love Wisconsin earlier. You've got a date at Memories Ballroom right around the corner. Tell us about that gig.
Yeah, I'm going to be at Memories Ballroom. By the way, best buffet. Really, honestly, come for the buffet, stay for the comedy. That's really how it's the fried chicken. I'm already drooling a little bit. They've got a great menu. And if you haven't been there before, they do these great theater productions, and then they allow us to come and play and have great comedy shows. It's one of my favorite places to perform in Wisconsin. Or anywhere.
That's excellent. Yeah, we have. I have to get down there. I've heard the venue is outstanding, and I've actually heard that before about the buffet too. Let me ask you this: a two-parter. Have you worked there before, and have you worked Wisconsin much? And if so, how are crowds different, if at all?
I think that, and that's probably part of my love, not just, having spent so much time there as a kid, but also like everywhere from Appleton to Iron Mountain. Is Iron Mountain, that's in Wisconsin, right? Or is that UP?
It's the UP, but we could overlook that.
Yeah. I know. Well, here, La Crosse, all over Wisconsin. And I have to say, I remember one time in the 90s when I started, I told the MC to not mention I was from Chicago, because if he did, the audience would boo right away. And I was sitting there with the owner, and what did he do? He said I was from Chicago. The audience booed, and I go, "You're gonna have to. You know what? You're gonna have to make this right." So I let him stay on stage without walking up. The audiences, I don't know what it is. Like Milwaukee the Comedy Cafe was always hot. The Skyline in Appleton's always hot. I mean, people are just eager, and I don't know if it's like the per capita of bars in Wisconsin. I understand you guys aren't allowed to compete in drinking contests. I don't know if that's part of it. And I remember. Do you remember Rich Brown? I remember driving around Appleton with him, trying to find a convenience store that would sell us booze after 9. I think that's Wisconsin where you can't buy liquor after 9.
That's right, because we let the Tavern League write our laws, and they want people to go to bars. And Rich Brown, if there's a guy that can find booze after 9 o'clock, it is my good pal Rich Brown. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, it was wonderful. But yeah, I would say of all the places even more than Chicago. The Wisconsin audiences are my favorite. I don't know what it is. They're just like I've done widow weekends for deer hunting season. I've done tons of bachelorette parties there, and everyone's just ready to have fun in Wisconsin. And that's what it is. Everyone's ready to have fun.
It is. It's a fun state, and I call it. There's nowhere else I'd rather be in the summer, certainly, and not so sure about the winter. But you're right. The Comedy Cafe in Milwaukee, I remember that was one of the first. Dan Whitney, Larry the Cable Guy, introduced me to that club, got me in there, and I could not believe how great the crowds were. It was my favorite room to work, and I was sad to see it go. It moved, and now it's not there anymore. But that was my introduction to Wisconsin crowds, or comedy crowds, at least.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is great. So where do you get your material? You're a very political person. You make great commentary on politics and your views. Do you bring that to the stage ever? I know you've brought stuff with your family to the stage. Where do you get your material?
All of it's observational. I mean, I started out wanting to be Will Durst was my inspiration. One of my getting the comedy. Because he was able to break down really complicated things like foreign policy into humor. And it turned out I did not have that skill set. And it was all of, my stories about growing up and, all autobiographical. My mom's from Mexico. My dad was her cab driver. My dad was Irish. And her first day in the country, she was going to catch a bus, but she decided to catch a cab. And she got in his cab. They started dating. Yeah, they got married a year later. And her green card was expiring. This is probably an important part of the story. Her green card was expiring, and I'm pretty sure it was like, marry me or this goes. But they were married for the rest of my father's life. They were in love with each other, just never at the same time. So you get a lot of humor from that upbringing. So yeah, that's really when I started telling those stories and like jobs that I had. That's the way I started. Because before I started doing stand-up comedy, but I was only 23. I had already had 40 different jobs, but by the time I was 23 years old, everything from delivering newspapers to when I was 14. Like I would go in after they closed and I had to spray everything down with alcohol. I worked at Pizza Hut, Subway, Marshall Fields, at Water Tower. I worked at the Gap, the Limited, all kinds of restaurants and bars. Yeah. I mean, like I hated working. I used to leave in the middle of the day and not show up again. And I'm afraid to go into some restaurants because I'm not sure if I still work there. So that was really, so those stories, like, and you have that many experiences, you have it all in your, like, bouncing around your head. You got to put it somewhere, and I can't afford therapy. So I put it out there for folks.
The audience is your therapist.
Yes.
Okay. So I saw this clip of you earlier. I'd like to play that. Dom, let's get this clip ready. It's about a minute long. This is Patty telling a story about how she dealt with a heckler. And here's my issue. A lot of comedians, I guess a clip that we're going to play, but a lot of comedians post pictures of themselves, and then like in the word, it'll say like the description is comic totally owns heckler, and then I'm watching it and I'm going, where's the owning part? This is just like, it's so lame. I can't even believe it's like and typically people post their best stuff, but this is, and Patty I've seen firsthand is great with hecklers, but this is a story she tells on another podcast about how she dealt with a heckler. It's gold. Here it is.
If one person thinks that they're more important than not just the comedian on stage, but also everyone in the audience.
We created this monster with social media because people are seeing the crowd work and they think
I would not say we, because I don't.
Not you.
It predates social media. Well, my favorite moment of dealing with somebody who was heckling, I was in Atlantic City. They used to hire 3 headliners, so we would all do 30 minutes. And I was on stage, and these guys were heckling me, and they were loud. I mean, it's New Jersey. They don't have an inside voice. Yeah. So I wanted to get the room on my side. The 10 minutes in, I could kind of feel it. I'm like, I think I got the crowd. I'm going to address this. So I walked into the middle of the room and I walked over to the table to the loudest guy and I go, hey, it sounds like you're not having a good time over here. That's why we have 3 comics. There's going to be somebody right after me. And he goes, go back on stage, little girl. I was still trying to feel the energy of the crowd to see if I had this right. And I go, look, could you just be quiet for the rest of my set? Like, I wasn't swearing or anything. I was just like, could you just until I'm done? How about if I buy you a drink? And he goes, yeah, that sounds good. And I go, hey, bartender, can I get a vinegar and water for the douchebag over here? And the room like exploded because I was so nice. That's the most beautiful moment in comedy. Like, okay, I know what I'm going to do in this moment.
Yeah,
that is so great. How long ago was that, Patty? Did we lose Patty?
We might have lost.
Oh no,
we might have lost Patty. Oh no,
she probably didn't like the clip we chose, Dom. And
Maybe.
when we get her back, I'm gonna blame you. So there
Oh
you go.
God. Okay.
Patty
All right.
Vasquez is my guest. We will get Patty back on the phone or the stream, and we will continue to talk to Patty. In the meantime, I will catch up on some texts because we are running a little bit behind on those. Our question of the night was, who is your favorite coach? So Joe in the 715 says Ben Johnson, Phil Jackson, and Joe Madden. Chicago. I think we call him Chicago Joe. Joe says Bo Ryan too. Bo Ryan was a great coach. How about Dick Bennett too? While we're on Wisconsin sports, and Tony Bennett, his son. Talk about a coaching dynasty. I loved when Dick Bennett moved to UW and took the Badgers to the Final Four. That was such a great team. And then Tony Bennett. Here's a great thing about Tony Bennett. I probably would put Tony Bennett even over Dick Bennett because Tony Bennett, as much as I wanted him to come here to Wisconsin and coach, he coached Virginia. I think he was the first coach, and they were the first team to lose to a 16th seed. And I remember having this visceral reaction and feeling so bad for Tony Bennett, the Bennett family, because I thought they were just great. And it was kind of an embarrassment. Then what does he do? I believe it was the next year, comes back and wins his first NCAA title ever. And I don't think Dick Bennett won that either. So that was so great. Love the Bo Ryan quote or choice, Joe. And also I got to give a shout out to Dick and Tony Bennett as well. Are we having any luck, Dom, getting Patty back?
Still no luck.
Okay.
Still no luck.
John from Madison in the 608, our pal John Murray says, good evening, Pete. Well, he said good evening, pets and Dom. I think he meant Pete, unless he's talking to all the dogs and cats out there. But John says, good evening, Pete and Dom. Loving tonight's show. Best coach ever in my lifetime is Mike Curry. Took the smallest 1A school in the state of Illinois, Algonquin, maybe? Shortening. Central Catholic High School in 1982 to the state championship in football. He turned boys into men, and at the same time, it was like a second father to many of us, helping us make sense of it all. He repeated 3 years later, and my younger brother played as a senior. Magic. And I guess Phil Jackson was all right, too. Yeah, that was a great... See, I love those personalized stories. If you have a high school coach or even a grade school coach, your first coach ever, someone who made an impression on you, that's great. Jim from Appleton in the 920 says, my favorite coach? Well, there's two. Of course, the legend, Vince Lombardi and Don Shula. Two pretty doggone impressive coaches as well. And Don Shula took his team, the Miami Dolphins, I want to say it was the 72 or 73 Dolphins, undefeated, the only NFL team to go undefeated and win a Super Bowl. The 85 Bears were 18-1, won the Super Bowl. The Patriots, maybe in 2009, were 18-1, but did not win the Super Bowl. They were undefeated going into the game and lost, and I believe it was Eli Manning that beat them. We were talking about Eli Manning being a big game quarterback, unlike his brother. So there you go. Two great choices. Thank you, Jim from Appleton, as always. All right, we got Patty back?
We do, yes.
Oh, fantastic. Patty, we missed you.
So weird. Sorry. See, that's what happens when you play audio from about a story in Atlantic City. Someone, not for nothing, but someone took care of that.
Don't rip on Jersey.
I know.
You were talking about your mom, and I remember you doing jokes about her in Marinette a few years ago, and you literally had the crowd rolling. Is that still in your act? Are you going to listen?
Yeah.
We got to do a very short break, and we'll have a couple more minutes with Patty before we let her go after the break. But we'll talk about Memories Ballroom. We'll get another plug for that in. And I want you to talk about your mom and the jokes you do about her. Because if you're doing that in Memories Ballroom this weekend, folks, you do not want to miss this. It's just great stuff. She's a fantastic stand-up comic. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. We are coming right back on the Civic Media Radio Network. welcome back. Tomorrow night on Nite Lite, Travel Wisconsin's Logan Rogie joins us. Always fun to have Logan on the show. Influencer Christina Laurie makes the popcorn pick of the week, and Jared Schutz from Wisconsin Dive Bars. I am way too excited to talk to Jared about what he does. Also an influencer when it comes to dive bars. So we'll do all that tomorrow night, and I don't know if Conrad will be back or not, but John from Madison says, thanks a bunch for thanks a bunch for sharing my thoughts, Peter. Much appreciated. And my better half, Melba, just love your show so damn much. Thank you, John. It was great to meet you guys at the Godfather of Green Bay screening last month. Lots of fun. John also says, please tell Conrad to suck it up and get back out on that field and get well soon. I knew John was going to end it on a positive note. Hey, we've got a couple more minutes with our current guest, Patty Vasquez, very funny comedian from Chicago. She is also a very talented radio host. Patty, tell us one more time, Memories Ballroom, it's this weekend, correct?
Yes, I'll be there on Saturday night. The best buffet that you possibly imagine. And then, come for the food, stay for the comedy is all I'm saying. It'll be a great night.
Regardless of why you're there, just enjoy the comedy.
Exactly.
Enjoy the fried chicken. It's great stuff.
Oh, my God, the fried chicken's so good.
So I was going to ask you, what tell us about your radio show. You're on the air too, if people want to give a listen.
Sure. I'm on WCPT 820 AM in Chicago, and we live stream on our Facebook channel as well as YouTube. And I have fun talking. Look, we talk about a wide range of things. Well, it might be current events. I also love featuring, like you do, artists and performers, musicians, comedians, theater groups. Folks that are and local business owners, because I think that's where we need to connect with each other.
Yeah.
Your memories are made at your neighborhood, like your guest coming up tomorrow. The dive bars, my favorite places to hang out. I realized when I was sitting at a bar, I'm like, this is where I'm happiest, sitting at the bar at some neighborhood joint.
It's so funny too, because I remember I was a doorman at a bar in Rush Street when I was like 20. I wasn't even old enough to get in. And I remember going to places like that, or, you work on the road and there's a big dance bar. Those are all great, but I am so with you. Yeah. Give me a dive bar where you can just strike up a conversation, or there's a great jukebox, and I am all set.
Throwing a pool table and dartboard?
Yeah.
Done. Love it.
There you go. All right. So where can people see you after, like if they're listening from Chicago tonight, where can they see you? Do you have any other upcoming dates?
I'm going to be at Dino's Pizzeria, actually. That's a pizza joint in the neighborhood, actually. Dino's on Harlem and Higgins. And we've got actually Dwayne Kennedy, Hal Sparks, Joe Kilgallen, and Sully Santos. So we've got a great night of comedy on January 31st.
That's it's a great lineup. That's fantastic. And then last thing, I always ask guests this, Patty. Are you binge watching anything you could recommend? What are you watching?
Oh my God. I'm actually I'm watching a couple things, and they're so wildly different. I'm actually enjoying Landman with Billy Bob Thornton and Demi Moore. That's been enjoyable. And then I'm watching this silly series, this kind of fun show, Elsbeth. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Columbo. She's got this kind of quirky detective kind of thing. Yeah, I love that show.
That's fantastic. Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No. I've watched all of the seasons. I just caught up. We watched them in a couple weeks, just because it's fun and light and easy to consume. That's all.
Have you ever acted?
I've done some small roles. I had a recurring role, like whenever they need a mean nurse on Chicago Fire, and this is something I realized the last time I was on set. Yeah, I'm often the nurse that throws people out of the room. Last time when baby Otis was born, if folks remember that episode, I had to clear the room because the firefighters were being too loud. I threw a dad out of an exam room because he was yelling at his daughter. Yeah, so anytime you see a mean nurse, it's me, because they said all the other ones are very nurturing, and so they bring me back for that.
Stand-up comedy, radio, and part of the One Chicago family on NBC. You cannot beat that. Patty Vasquez. Knock 'em dead at Memories Ballroom, my friend, and please don't be a stranger.
Thanks for having me, Pete.
Anytime.
No, you too. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it done. I know I've been busy, but I appreciate you having me on. I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. Say hi to Dwayne for me.
I will.
All right.
Count on it. Thank you.
You got it. All right.
Bye-bye.
Patty Vasquez, folks. Check her out at Memories Ballroom this weekend in Port Washington. Such a great venue. Dom, have you ever been to a comedy club?
I have not. In all my 22 years of living, I have not been to a single one, and I feel like kind of a loser. But
no, there's not. You're being too hard on yourself. But I will say, if you want to check one out, you are sitting above one of the best ones in the whole country. Honest to God. And people say that like it was not around when I did stand up. There was a club down the street called Funny Business. That's no longer there. But Comedy on State is like, you talk to any comic and it's like one of the best clubs in the country, if not the best.
Yeah, I mean, all the time. Since I am right above them, I can hear them below me, like directly below me. And I hear people laughing, and it sounds like a really good time. I know our parking garage gets absolutely filled up with people going to that comedy club. So,
or if there's something at the Overture Center, you're totally boned as well.
Oh, yeah, it's done for.
Dash on the stream says a thumbs up to the bumper music. Dash likes. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Dash. And then another thumbs up. Appreciate you listening, pal. Hey, I want to thank all my guests tonight. Marv Wall from the Malva Cultural Center. Always fun to talk to anyone from that great institution. Marv was a lot of fun. Thank you, Marv. Thank you, Jim Healy. It was great talking movies with Jim. And Patty Vasquez talking a little comedy. Check her out at Memories Ballroom this weekend. Thank you for all your calls and text. Cindy, I'm sorry we missed your call earlier, but I know you'll call back soon. So we will be back again tomorrow night, folks, to do this all over again. Will Conrad be back or won't he? Dom, what do you say?
I think he will. I'll think he'll suck. What is it? What does he have again? I don't quite.
Alien hand syndrome.
There it is. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets over toes on the board, but I'm sure he'll wipe it down so I don't catch alien hand syndrome tomorrow night. We will be back tomorrow night on behalf of the lovable producer Conrad and the man filling in out of the bullpen, Tom Lee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. We'll be back tomorrow night. This is Pete Schwaba. Good night, Wisconsin.
She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to the sun. We're up all night to get some. We're up all night for good fun. We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
Thank you so much, socials, and have a great rest of your night.